Hello, this is Archie Dunlop with Talking Astrology with Archie, and it's Sunday, June the 4th, 2023. I thought I was done with the subject of Prince Harry and Meghan. I mean, I've already done a video on each of them, and I did a video on them as a couple, but I did have a question that on one of the videos I did, I got a comment, and so here's the comment from Kim, and Kim says, "I really think you should consider doing a Vedic Sinistry chart for Harry and Meghan. Then you might conclude that Meghan Markle's path is a pursuit of self-actualization rather than selfishness. You may also conclude that Harry and Meghan's marriage is unlikely to break up any time soon, if at all. Of course, I could be wrong. Nothing is cast in stone." So, what I thought I would do is look at the synastry of Prince Harry and Meghan from a Vedic perspective. Now, if you don't know, synastry is a word, sin, I believe that's Greek, meaning with, and the refers to astrology. So synastry is a word relating to the combination of two horoscopes, how people match astrologically. So in Western astrology, synastry is a really big deal. You know, when I was studying at the Faculty of Astrological Studies in the 80s, I think I had to do a course in synastry. So yeah, it's really important, and it's what people want to know in the West, and likewise in the East. In Vedic astrology, choosing marriage partners with astrology it's a major part of what I believe an Indian astrologer does. And I am not a Vedic astrologer. I know about Vedic astrology. I do sometimes use Vedic astrology, but I don't really regard myself as a Vedic astrologer. So, bear that in mind. If by any off chance you're a Vedic astrologer, or you believe yourself to be an expert in Vedic astrology, and I start talking about synastry in Vedic astrology and I make massive generalizations, I do apologize, but I'm not really claiming any special expertise in the area. But Western synastry and Eastern synastry, in my experience, are very different. When you compare two charts in Western astrology, you do it in a fairly logical way. You compare. For example, you might compare the suns. Meghan's sun is in Leo and Harry's sun is in Virgo. And you might look at the aspects between the different planets. And it's all very, very logical. And it's at the most simple level, it's based on star signs. Although there are these aspects. For example, if you've got someone has got their Venus conjunct the other person's Mars, that's supposed to be a really big deal relating to sexual attraction. But it's all very logical. Now, in Vedic astrology, there are a load of rules, or should I say aphorisms, and they don't always make logical sense. Now, that doesn't mean to say they don't mean something, but they can be a bit difficult to get your head around, and to actually evaluate how well two people are going to get on may actually involve quite a lot of number crunching, as you will see. And there are probably many forms of comparing two charts, but I'm just going to look at three. Now, let's just have a look at some Indian astrology. Here is Harry's Vedic chart. Looks very different from the Western chart, and the Vedic chart is based on the moon. Yeah, Indian astrology is completely moon-centric. The whole main predictive system, the Vimshottari Dasha system, is based on where the moon was when you were born. And a lot of the Vedic Sinistry is based on the mansions of the moon. And there are 27 mansions of the moon. And each mansion has 30 degrees and is 13 degrees and 20 minutes long. So it's not even a whole number, but it all comes to 27 of them. And you can see some of Harry's mansions. You can see his moon. There's his moon, and his moon is in a mansion called Kritika. Kritika, I believe, means the cutters. You think of knives. Maybe being really critical. That's my understanding of it. But there are other things that have been said about it. There's a suggestion that I've read that Kritika might be in a man might be someone who is attracted to older women. For example, I'm not going into that, but that's what I read somewhere. But so. It's often based on the mansions of the moon. So you might look at the mansion of the moon that Harry's moon is in, and you might look at the mansion of the moon that Meghan's in. Now, this program that I'm using is called Parashara's Light. It's by a company I think called GeoVision Software. It costs a few $100s. So I wouldn't recommend you bought it unless you were really into Vedic astrology or you want immediate access to it. But one thing this program does is it spits out Sinistry reports. It spits out compatibility reports. So you put in Harry's chart, you put in Meghan's chart, and it just gives you the reports. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 3 reports that this program gives. I must emphasize I'm not trying to get you to buy this program. I'm not advertising anything. I'm just telling you about a program that I'm using. And I hardly use this feature, spitting out reports. But I was asked to look at the Sinistry between Harry and Meghan to see if one comes up with anything interesting. Now, when I looked at Harry and Meghan's charts, I pointed out that they both have Mars in the 12th house. And in Indian astrology, when you've got Mars in the 12th, and in some other houses, you have something called Kuja dosha. It's a Mars affliction. And if you've got Mars in the 12th, then it means you're going to find it really difficult to find a happy marriage, and your marriage partner is likely to be mean to you. And so there's poor Harry with his Mars in the 12th. But there is a cancellation. If you've got Mars in the 12th, if you've got Mars in the 1st, that's just another Kuja dosha position. If you have Kuja dosha and you marry someone who also has Kuja dosha, the condition is cancelled out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the Kuja dosha report for Meghan and Harry, and just show you what it says. So here's the Kuja dosha report, and it says cancellation of Mangala dosha between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Mangala is, I believe, Sanskrit for Mars, I believe. So it says, as per astrological classics, Mangala dosha cannot be cancelled entirely, only its intensity can be reduced. Under special circumstances, Mangala dosha is automatically nullified or reduced to a minimum. In the charts of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Mangala dosha gets cancelled for the following reason. Then it quotes some scripture. It says in the horoscope of Prince Harry, Mars is placed in the 12th house, while in the horoscope of Meghan Markle, he's placed in the 12th house. So Mangala dosha is cancelled. So going back to this question, tell me, look at their chart from a Vedic perspective. From a Mangala dosha perspective, that's not bad. They've chosen each other, and apparently, according to the theory, they can't hurt each other, because if you've got Mangala dosha, you are destined to be hurt by your spouse, but you're not going to hurt your spouse. So you have two people with Mangala dosha, then it should be fine, or at least it could be fine. And again, if you are a Vedic astrology expert, my apologies for simplifying it. All of these things have nuances and subtleties, but I don't really claim to be a Vedic astrologer. I'm interested in it. I know how to vaguely look at a Vedic chart, but it's not something I claim to have expertise on. Now, there is another approach to compatibility, and this is something called Dashkuta compatibility. And so you can see that it has there's a load of stuff going on here. It's looking at different ways in which the charts can relate, and I think it actually is from, I believe it's from South India, this system. I may be wrong on this, but so it talks about luck. Due to its favourable dinam, there is a good level of agreement in the relationship. It also brings good luck. Then you've got Ganam, wealth. The wealth of the bridegroom and of the bride are Rakshasa Gana and Diva Gana, which is very bad. Now, Rakshasa is demons. And Kritika, which is Harry's mansion of the moon, is considered to be in the set or whatever of Rakshasa. So it's of the nature. It's kind of, maybe it's demonic. I don't think it's quite that bad. Whereas Meghan, it's Diva Gana. Diva is a god. And so when you've got Rakshasa meets Diva, it's considered not to be good. The incompatibility will reduce wealth in marriage. So perhaps that relates to all their expenses. Yes, they got a lot of money coming in. How long will the money keep coming in? But they do have to be careful with money. So then you've got attachment, mahendaram, attachment, well-being. There is a lack of compatibility in this respect. That will cause less well-being and attachment in the relationship. Then you've got general welfare. That seems to be good. There's sexual compatibility. The yonis are different but not hostile. Compatibility is medium. Then you've got the family. It says it favours the birth of sons. Well, they've got one son. I don't know whether they're going to have another one. And so you go through it, and it comes up with a number, 28. So it's actually scored their whole relationship as a number. It's given them 28. Now, what does that mean? I understand that with this system, you need about a score of about 24 to suggest a favourable marriage or some chance of real compatibility. And they're on 28. So actually, using this system, things look quite good. And then there's another system you can use called the Ashkoot Guna chart. And this I think is probably more popular than the other one. And so it looks at the horoscope in eight different ways: work, dominance, destiny, mentality, friendliness, temperament, love, and health. And you can get maximum marks. You see how numerical it is. There's kind of be impossible. Well, not impossible, but it'll be really difficult if you're an astrologer and you have to work this out by hand. Without computers, it would be a real pain. But anyway, this program does it all for me. So, and we can see that certain things in terms of work, that's looking good, 1 out of 1. Dominance, not quite sure what that means. Destiny, mentality is okay. Friendliness, now friendliness that's bad. You've got maximum marks of 5, and they only get 0.5. So that might mean that in terms of friendship, because if you're married to someone, you've got to relate, I would have thought, as a friend, but maybe not. Maybe there's a problem there. Temperament, not working well, getting only 1 out of 6. And you can see for love, and this is dosha, I think means a fault. And it says, yes, this one has a fault because it gets 0 marks out of 7. And so maybe it's really saying there isn't much love between them. They've been married for 5 years, and maybe the love has gone, and maybe this is what it's suggesting. And so overall, they get 16 marks out of 36, which is not good. And indeed, it says Ashkoot matching between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle should be avoided. So there you go. So I've looked at 3 approaches to compatibility in Indian astrology with Harry and Meghan, and one of them, well, two of them are quite favourable, but this last one, the Ashkoot Guna chart, is quite categorical. They should not be together. Now, as far as Western astrology, I never felt that they were particularly incompatible. I think there was nothing too bad about the 2 charts. And back to this question, I have looked at their Vedic Sinistry, and clearly there are some problems. I'm not sure if there's much love there, and I think that's perhaps indicated by their Vedic charts. How seriously do we take it? It's just one tool. When it comes to Sinistry, I'm not entirely convinced that you can just look at astrology and tell for sure whether 2 people are going to get on or not. There are other things to consider. I think I read somewhere that the most important thing from a psychological point of view in 2 people getting on is background, not the planets. Anyway, that's something to consider. And for the moment, that's all I'm going to say.